everyone, Miss Meek here, and today we're going to talk about multiplying decimals. That's multiplying a decimal times a decimal. So this is kind of an exciting thing. You have to be really good at your multiplication facts in order to do this successfully. So let's go ahead and jump in. Here's our first problem. 2 and 31/100ths times 1 and 1 and 4/10ths. To set this problem up, step number 1 is that I am going to set up my problem vertically, and I'm going to line up the numbers. Now I'm going to line up my numbers. This is different than adding or subtracting decimals because normally we line up the decimal points, but that is not the case. I don't need to do that. I just need to line up my numbers. So when I set up my multiplication problem, it's going to look like this. Notice my decimal points are not lined up, but my numbers are. Step 2 is I'm going to ignore the decimal points for right now. Step 2 is ignore the decimal points. It's going to be really hard because you're going to want to do something with them, but you need to ignore the decimal points right now and multiply normally. So we are trying to just multiply the numbers like we normally would if this was 231 times 14. So we're multiplying normally. So 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12, carry my 1. 4 times 2 is 8, plus that 1 is 9. I am done with this 4, so I'm going to put down a placeholder there, scratch it out, and put down a placeholder. And I also don't need this 1 anymore because I'm done multiplying the 4. Now we're going to multiply times 1. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 2 is 2. I have finished my multiplication and I'm going to add those numbers. So 4, 3, 12, and 3. Step number 3 is now it is time to finally figure out where does our decimal point go. We are going to count our decimal places. So we are going to count the places where I have place value that goes into the decimals. So tenths and hundredths and thousandths. So we're going to count our decimal places. In this first number, I have 2 decimal places. And in this second number, I have 1 decimal place for a grand total of 3 decimal places. Step 4 is we are going to now move our decimal point in our answer. So move our decimal to our answer. And so what that means is that if I have 3 decimal places, my decimal is going to move 1, 2, 3 times. My final answer is going to be 3 and 234 thousandths. Final answer right there. So it is a 4-step process. 1, line up your numbers, not the decimal points. 2, ignore the decimal points and just multiply. 3, count your decimal place values, so your decimal places. And then step 4 is move your decimal into the correct spot. Let's do one more problem to make sure you got it. So step 1 is to just multiply or to line up your numbers, not your decimal points. Step 2 was to multiply like normal. 7 times 3 is 21, carry my 2. 7 times 0 is 0, plus that 2 is 2, and 7 times 1 is 7. Step 3 is count your decimal places. I have 1 place in this first number, and then take a look at your second number. There are no decimal places. There are no tenths or hundredths or thousands. I don't have a decimal point. All right, so in that second number, there are 0 decimal places. So that means that I will be moving my number a grand total of 1 time. And so my last step, step 4, is to move that decimal where it belongs 1 time. So I'm moving it 1 time. And so my final answer is 72 and 1/10. All right, this is how you multiply decimals. I hope that this helped clear up any confusion that you may have, and I will talk to you later. Bye.